In 2001, Nintendo showed us a glimpse of the next Zelda game, a dark, gritty, realistically styled sequel to Ocarina of Time. The fans were ecstatic, but when the actual product arrived, it was different. It was bright, it was cartoonish, it was, as the internet dubbed it, Zelda, as in, like cel shaded. The controversy was immediate, vicious, and historic. Yet despite the fan backlash and skepticism, The Legend of Zelda: The Wind Waker was released in 2003 and embarked on a quiet campaign of undeniable genius. It wasn't just a bold artistic choice, it was a defined statement. The game that was ridiculed for its looks quickly became one of the most beloved, emotionally resonant, and visually timeless adventures in the franchise. This isn't just a retrospective, it's a testament to the fact that artistry, vision, and heart will always triumph over technical realism. The choice of cel shading, making the 3D graphics look like a 2D cartoon, was a monumental decision by director Eiji Aonuma and Shigeru Miyamoto. Not only did this choice allow the development team to save significant time, avoiding the technical pitfalls of chasing realistic graphics on the GameCube, but it was also a brilliant artistic move that ensured the game's longevity. While its contemporary Twilight Princess would eventually suffer from the march of graphical fidelity, the Wind Waker's look remains as fresh and vibrant today as it was 20 years ago. Also, cel shading was pretty good at the time, especially, during that era, the PS2, GameCube era of games. Games like Sly Cooper, Jet Set Radio, those are all monumental and successful games, franchises, and cel shading just made it look unique. Yeah, it looks like a comic book, it looks cartoonish compared to something like fucking God of War or like Call of Duty, but cel shading doesn't necessarily mean that the game is gonna fail because it doesn't look like next-gen graphics, But I understand why there was a controversy for Zelda, because you'd think that it'll look more realistic, more greedy. Since, like I said earlier, when they first, announced the game in 2001 at the Space World, it looked like a next-gen game. It looked dark. It was, mature, I guess. But once they released it, it looked like a fucking kid's game. Okay, to be fair, Zelda is generally a kid's game, but that's besides the point. People were like, what the fuck is this? Where's my fucking hardcore graphics game? And I get it, right? I mean, I wasn't, like, up to date with my gaming news in 2001 because I was fucking 4 years old. So, like, I didn't even know there was controversy for this game until I was doing research for this video. And obviously, 20 fucking years later, the controversy didn't fucking matter because the game is successful. And it's one of the... I mean, you can argue that most Zelda games that release are one of the best ones, but it is one of the good ones, from back in the day. Crucially, the art style allowed for one thing that realism never could: unprecedented emotional expression. Link was no longer a stoic cipher. His huge, expressive eyes conveyed fear, joy, humor, and determination with every glance. This made his journey and his relationship with the supporting cast, especially his sister, Ariel? Is that how you pronounce her name? Ariel? And the fiery pirate captain, Tetra, more impactful and endearing than any Zelda game before it. Okay, now, before any of you talk shit, for me, his expressions are, like, low-key, they are a bit cartoonish, but they are expressive. They are very expressive compared to, like, Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask, but they do look cartoonish. Sometimes I'm like, what the fuck? He looks kind of weird, but it is expressive, which is what counts, I guess, Like, he has personality compared to Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask. I feel like in those games, he was just like, he was, I guess, stoic, He was very, like, fucking, I don't know, I'm so macho even though I'm a fucking little kid. Like, he didn't show any expression. Like, what do you want me to say? That's pretty much it. The central pillar of the Wind Waker's design is the Great Sea, replacing the connected landmass of Hyrule. This shift fundamentally altered the feel of the game. It was a massive open-world hub, demanding exploration and patience. The sense of isolation and discovery arriving at one of the 49 islands scattered across the map was unparalleled. I feel like this design choice of making it open world, but not really in a way, is the islands. Okay, so I wouldn't say that they were lazy and wanted just to make as little land as possible, but I think it is kind of unique how they essentially made WaterWorld the game, right? Where you have to take a boat and go to different islands, and each island is basically its hub world, its level per se. And at first I was kind of like, this is kind of lame, right? There's not too much, because there's like, to be honest, yeah, you're exploring, but there isn't that much to explore when you really think about it. Once you land on an island, that's pretty much it. Unless the island is, it's a temple or a dungeon, then okay, yeah, there's a fuck ton of shit to explore. But every other island, every normal island, is just a piece of fucking land. There's nothing much to do. And I don't know if I'm gonna get hate for this or get shit on, but that's the way I felt when playing this game. The islands, it's a cool idea. Don't get me wrong, it's unique. It's not, because usually when people make open world games, they add as much as they can to make it lively, to make it feel real, and like there's life in this fucking world, not just a desolate fucking video game. So I get what they were trying to do, and I like it. I'm not saying I don't like it. I liked the Great Sea aspect and going to different islands, but at the same time, it's kind of like, is this really it? There's nothing here to explore. Because yes, you're exploring these islands and you have like these random encounters with either the fucking octopuses or the towers in the ocean with the enemies. But I don't know, I feel like it's a bit lackluster, if I'm being completely honest. It does, what I just said, it does, go against what I said earlier, hey, how it's unparalleled, because, I don't know, I feel like, yeah, it's unique, it's unparalleled because it hasn't been done, at least from what I've played before. Open world games typically have a lot of stuff in it, like I said before, and this one kind of doesn't. But it's still fun and unique, so, again, just to reiterate, I'm not shitting on it. With all that said, this was where the game faced its biggest initial criticism. The sailing was slow. Early players lamented the time spent traveling, often having to stop and manually conduct the Wind's Requiem to change direction. It was a trade-off. Beautiful atmosphere and discovery versus tedious travel. However, this pace instilled a genuine respect for distance and scale, making the world feel truly immense. The thing about the Great Sea is it has both pros and cons. The whole conducting the Wind's Requiem, I fucking hate doing that. I mean, it doesn't take like 5 minutes to conduct it and change the wind, but it's annoying to constantly having to fucking pull up my composer's stick, I don't know what that shit's called, and conducting the song to change directions. And then sometimes the game doesn't register. I mean, it's partially my fault for not being on beat, because you have to be on beat to conduct a particular song, which also is kind of annoying because the game doesn't fucking register it properly. But whatever. It is a little bit annoying sailing the Great Sea. It is cool. Again, it is cool and beautiful to fucking sail the sea because it hasn't been done before, at the time. So it is cool, but it does have its cons. It does have its annoyances, but those annoyances don't, blow out the pros and the cool things about it. Although Nintendo did acknowledge this critique years later with the HD remaster, introducing the Swift Sail, a quality of life feature that allowed Link to sail at maximum speed without needing to change the wind direction. This addition fundamentally improved the game's pacing, proving that sometimes small changes can perfect a masterpiece. Regardless of the speed, the Great Sea provided a sense of true adventure where the map was filled not with quest markers or, set locations, but with exploration. Despite the oceanic shift, the core of Zelda, dungeons and puzzles, remained brilliant. The Windwaker features some of the most inventive and atmospheric dungeons in the series. Dragon Roost Cavern introduced us to the Bonflower puzzles, while the Forbidden Woods had us using the Deku Leaf for flight and the Skull Hammer for immense destruction. And like most, if not all Zelda games, this is where this game is really truly shine. It's the fucking dungeons and the temples. I mean, I've said this before during the Ocarina of Time video, I think, that Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom are by far my two favorite Zelda games. And I know people are gonna like disagree with me with like those two games because they break the Zelda formula, and also Tears of the Kingdom had like mixed reviews in terms of the story or whatever. But I still stand by that. Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom are by far my two games in the series, and the style of it too. But one thing I will admit that those two games lack are the unique dungeons and temples compared to the OG games, the traditional formula of the Zelda games. The traditional formula, includes themed dungeons and temples. Like one theme would be water or fire or whatever. And Wind Waker is no different. The temples and the dungeons are always fucking fun. They are a bit annoying sometimes, but that's in every Zelda game. There's gonna be annoyances, right? But that's the beauty of it. It gives you a challenge to do. It gives you like a place to explore and really hone your skills and your items and test how good you really are at the game. The story is perhaps its most underrated achievement. It's a direct continuation of the Ocarina of Time lineage, set hundreds of years after the Great Flood that covered Hyrule to seal away Ganondorf. The strength lies in its characters. The relationship between Link and Tetra is fantastic. She's a sharp, cynical, and powerful force, acting as Link's pragmatic foil. Her transformation upon realizing she is the latest reincarnation of Princess Zelda is an incredibly well-executed character arc, making the discovery feel meaningful rather than just a plot device. So the thing about the Zelda games is that the stories either connect or they don't, and if they do, some shit gets retconned, and they're all over the place. The Zelda timeline is one of those things that it's like it's on acid, bro. Like, what the fuck is the Zelda timeline? How like it's like a fucking multiverse, dude. The Zelda timeline and how all the stories connect. So this one connects to Kid Link, but this version of Link isn't the hero of time, but at the same time he is, and like I don't fucking know, bro. And not gonna lie, also, when Tetra was revealed to be Zelda, not gonna lie, I did not see that fucking coming. I legit thought that Tetra was just a new character introduced into the games. I did not know that she was Zelda. Maybe I should have seen it coming. Maybe I'm just that fucking dumb. But I did not know. Well, spoilers, I guess. I did not know that she was Zelda. So I thought that was pretty cool. The King of Red Lions, Link's trusty companion, is one of the most memorable guides in the series. His true identity as the King of Hyrule provided an incredible dramatic weight to the final acts. His ultimate sacrifice, choosing to sink the old Hyrule to let the new world thrive, is arguably the most heartbreaking and divisive moment in the franchise. But again, it doesn't... I'm not gonna say it doesn't matter, but low-key does it matter though, because Hyrule is fine in other games. Like, what the fuck is this timeline? What is this story, bro? And again, same thing with Tetra being Zelda. I did not see the red King of Red Lions being the King of Hyrule. I just didn't see it coming. And that leaves us with Ganondorf. His motivation here is kind of human. He looks upon the Great Sea and remembers the lush green lands of his youth, stolen by the gods. His desire to reclaim the old Hyrule, even if it means destroying the new world, lends a tragic, desperate quality to his villainy, making the final confrontation intensely personal and emotionally charged. Yeah, I feel like this version of Ganon isn't like haha, I'm a villain, I'm just a bad guy trying to destroy the world. He's kind of like trying to bring back the old world, which is kind of, in a way, good, since, the gods did flood Hyrule. But obviously he's a villain because he's killing the new world and all the new people in it. But I can see his argument, I'm not saying he's completely right, but I can see why he's doing it. Now, another thing that really made this game somewhat annoying is the fucking fetch quest of getting all the Triforce shards together. Late in the game, we are tasked with finding 8 pieces of the Triforce, but several pieces require first locating and then paying a massive sum to decipher a map, turning an epic conclusion into a somewhat tedious, repetitive chore. A repetitive chore that was notoriously padded, a clear casualty of the rushed development schedule. You can argue that the entire game is, or every Zelda game is a fetch quest. Like, to be honest, you have to go get one thing. You have to get the masks in Majora's Mask. You have to get the fucking the powers from the great beasts, or the fuck they called in Breath of the Wild. But this one is honestly, it just fucking sucks. Not gonna lie, it doesn't suck like holy shit, I don't want to play anymore. But it's kind of like bruh type of shit. However, with all that said, the late game drag does little to diminish the game's, okay, like the Minish Cap, diminish the game's overall mastery. The Windwaker proved that graphics don't need to chase realism to be relevant. It established a standard of character expression and fluid animations that continues to inspire developers today. It showed that Zelda could experiment with its core formula, trading horses for boats, land for sea, and still deliver a potent, powerful adventure. More than 2 decades later, The Wind Waker is unequivocally recognized as a masterpiece. It is a visual triumph, a narrative powerhouse, and a beautiful, defiant experiment that paved the way for future Zelda innovation. It didn't just survive the controversy, it transcended it, sailing straight into the heart of gaming history. But yeah, what do you guys think about the game? You know, it's kind of hard to say, oh, this game sucked, because it's a Zelda game. By definition, it's gonna be fucking good. Like, let's be honest. What are the things that you hated? What are the things that you love? Tell me in the comments below. And if you enjoy the video, please like and subscribe. Share this with your mom. Your mom would love it. But yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.